Okay, today we're going to be looking at solving systems using elimination. Now, elimination will usually, not always, but usually be used when you see two linear equations in standard form. The goal of elimination is to get opposite coefficients on your variables so that you can add the two equations to eliminate, to cancel out one of your variables. Once you've canceled out one of your variables, you only have to solve for a single variable. So let's look at the two equations we have today. Negative 16x plus 2y equals negative 16, and 8x minus 9y equals 8. So let's look at our coefficients. We have a coefficient of negative 16 and 8 for our x's, and coefficients of 2 and negative 9 for our y values. Now, negative 16 and 8 aren't opposites, and 2 and negative 9 aren't opposites. What I mean by opposites are numbers that are opposite of each other. For instance, negative 5 and 5 would be opposites. Negative 21 and 21 would be opposites. Integers that when added together would give you 0. So if you look at this, negative 16 would have an opposite of 16. 2 would have an opposite of negative 2. Now, we can't make 9 negative 2 by multiplying it by any other integer, but we can make 8 positive 16 by multiplying it by a number. Think for a minute, what number would we multiply 8 by to get to positive 16? Since 8 times 2 would give us positive 16, we're going to multiply this whole second equation by 2. And that includes this other side of the equal sign. This entire equation will have to be multiplied by 2. So multiplying by 2, we get 16x minus 18y equals 16. Now that we have opposites, we can add our two equations to cancel out the x values. Negative 16 plus 16 will cancel out. 2y plus negative 18y will give us negative 16y. And negative 16 plus 16 will give us 0. Divide by negative 16 to get y by itself, and y equals 0. So this gives us the second value in our coordinate. Now, to get the x value, very similar to substitution, we're going to plug this y value back in to get x. You can choose any of these three equations to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and choose the top one. So we start off with negative 16x plus 2y equals negative 16. Instead of saying y, we're going to say 0 now. So negative 16x plus 2 times 0 equals negative 16. 2 times 0 is 0, so we have negative 16x equals negative 16. Divide by negative 16 to get x by itself, and x equals 1. So this would give me a coordinate point of 1, 0. All right, now that we've had some practice, I want you to try to solve this next one. Negative 2x plus 5y equals negative 17. And 9x minus 15y equals 24. I want you to first look and see if there's any opposite coefficients to start off with. Okay, so there's not an opposite pair yet. Negative 2 is not the opposite of 9, and 5 is not the opposite of negative 15. which pair would be easiest to make opposites? So we can make 5 the opposite of negative 15 by multiplying it by 3. If we multiplied 5 by 3, that would give us a positive 15. Positive 15 is the opposite of negative 15. So let's multiply this first equation by 3. What will our new equation be once we multiply that out? After we multiply that out, we get negative 6x plus 15y equals negative 51. So now that we've multiplied it out, we have opposite coefficients, so we can just add our two equations. So 9x plus negative 6x gives us 3x. (15) and negative 15 cancel out. And 24 and negative 51 would give us negative 27. So now we just need to get x by ourselves. What's the next step to get that x by itself? Divide by 3. So x equals negative 9. So we have the first part of our coordinate where they intersect. What do we need to do with this negative 9 in order to get our other value? Okay, I'm going to substitute it back in to get the y value. I can substitute it back in for any of these equations. I'm just going to choose the top one. So it starts out as negative 2x plus 5y equals negative 17. Instead of saying x, I'm now going to say negative 9. So negative 2 times negative 9 plus 5y equals negative 17. Negative 2 times negative 9 would give me a positive 18. Y equals negative 17. I'm going to subtract 18. So negative 17 minus 18 will give me negative 35. 5y equals negative 35. Divide by 5, and y equals negative 7. Alright, so those are two elimination problems. Remember to try to get your opposite coefficients and then solve for one of the variables.